one we're gonna do Triple H team up for a major announcement. Oh wait, Trump Triple H, yeah. Basically, this one is actually something I'm really happy about, which is it is about physical education in schools, and to be honest, this is something that's necessary because physical education is important for society. Like it's not about like doing some extraordinarily difficult regimen that's nearly difficult to accomplish yourself. It's just about doing some simple things that throughout the day that help you, whether it's stretching, basic exercises. Like you can do other stuff like weightlifting, body weight exercises, cardio, calisthenics, riding a bike. Like there's a lot of things you can do, but I'm really glad about this, which is physical education is important and I'm 100% on board with this. Well, let's get into this.
A country is as strong, really, as its citizens. And I
Yep.
think that mental and physical health, mental and physical vigor go hand in hand. I hope that we will not find a day in the United States when all of us are spectators, except for a few who are out on the field. I hope all Americans will be on the field.
Yep. Before we continue, I'm going to say I actually really like JFK as a president. Like, as a Democrat, like, a lot of people really should look up to people like him because he did a lot of great things for America. He is one, in my opinion, of the best presidents that ever came out of the Democratic Party. Like, the way he handled the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Cold War, Bay of Pigs, like there's a lot of stuff. Like he obviously didn't do everything 100% perfectly, and he never even got to go throughout his entire presidency because tragically he was shot. But for a lot of the stuff that he did and implemented, like he did very well. Like he was the young guy in the presidents that a lot of people didn't believe in because they thought he was young, they thought he was naive, but in actuality, he actually handled things great. But yeah, I really like JFK, and not only that, but he has some of the most iconic speeches in human history, like "Go to the moon," "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." But yeah, there's a lot of great things about JFK, and I really think that the Democrats should look back at someone like him if they really want their party to help the American people far more, because there's a difference between going to these weird social issues that have little to no impact on pretty much anybody in society that is positive versus JFK where he actually tried to help the US government, and he took on one of the most terrible crisis that was ever happening in terms of the US versus the Soviet Union at the time, and really did his best to make a situation like that not fall over into total nuclear war. Because if anyone else was president, we might have gone into another full scale war that would have been extremely tragic in terms of how many lives were lost and how much would be affected. Well, he did have his fair share of scandals too, like Marilyn Monroe cheating on his wife. I'm not ignoring that, but he did a lot of great things, but he had his faults too. Oh yeah, let's continue.
Back in 1962, when JFK
Mm-hmm.
spearheaded that national movement to get our kids in shape, kids were in a lot better shape than they are in now, and he
Yep.
created the physical fitness test. Now, I remember doing it as a kid. You had to run a mile, do pull-ups, sit-ups, a couple of other exercises.
Mm-hmm.
But President Obama, who's Mr. Fitness himself, retired that test and replaced it with the Presidential Youth Fitness Program that moved
Mm-hmm.
away from recognizing athletic performance as a barometer of students' health.
Yeah, I will say that is definitely a big fuck up on Obama's part. There's a lot of things that I guess over time as Obama's presidency ended, we can look back on and see he fucked up. Like he didn't fuck up in everything because he was actually pretty good in deportations. Like he had a lot of stuff that was more reasonable than even like the Biden era, which was like such a heavy radicalization of a lot of stuff. But yeah, I consider that what he did a fuck up, and I'm glad that this is being implemented back.
Well, of course, start practicing those pull ups because the fitness test under Trump
Yep.
is coming back. He signed an
Yeah.
executive order late today reestablishing it in schools.
That's
I
a
was
tiny
always
ass
a
test.
person that loved playing sports. I was good at sports. When you were really focused on sports, you thought about nothing else. Sports is so important. I think what this council is doing is going to be very important, and it gives you a little exercise, sometimes a lot of exercise.
Here with me is a
Yep.
member of the president's
Yeah, I'm really glad this is being implemented again. I think RFK is trying to finish whatever JFK left in his presidency that he was unable to do because of what happened, and him trying to fulfill those things definitely is good.
Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. He spoke today, Paul Levesque, but you know him as the 14-time world champ, Triple H.
Yeah. Well, before I begin, I'm just gonna say this. I'm glad that Triple H was picked for this and not somebody else, because how many times have you been in a school where where your coach is like, physical education is important? No, not even a school. Like, imagine police academies, schools, like a bunch of other physical related events where the person's like, physical education is important. It's something that improves your life, helps you, it makes your life better, and all that stuff. And then when you look at the person doing it, it's like an instructor who has so much fat on him that his shirt doesn't even fit correctly, where it exposes like his belly button and his pants don't even fit correctly. Like, how many times have you ever seen that? Some fat, overweight, like, hog of a teacher teaching you how it's like good at physical education. Like, that by itself shoots the message in the foot, because whenever I see those people, like, that doesn't make me want to exercise, man. That's just like, why the fuck are you here? Why are you telling me this? Like, shouldn't you be doing this yourself? Because, like, you look like you need the exercise more than I do. But then they want, like, people like that to enforce stuff on, like, everybody else. And, it's just nasty. Like, there's a difference between, like, buff, where there's some guys that are buff but fit. But then there's some guys that, they're just, like, total fat hogs that can't, like, stop themselves from eating bacon every 10 minutes. Like those guys. When you look at it, you're like, oh my God, why do I have to follow this guy?
He's also the WWE's chief content officer.
Picking Triple H, I'm glad. He's fit. He's great at cardio. He's great at lifting. Like, he's a prime example of actually following the message you want to implement, which is great that they put him as the head of it. Because you look at him, and you can already tell this man's jacked. This man, like, you have thousands of hours of seeing this man in his prime. Like, he was pretty much always in shape his entire life, and yeah, but great pick.
Sir, Paul, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I love seeing you all up there today. It was a wonderful moment. Tell us about this executive order. Why does this statement about fitness and our kids matter so much more today than before?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I think
Because they're fat.
it's so imperative to the health of the nation to get young people back in shape, to get them motivated to exercise, to get them off their phones, to get them off of TV or screens, whatever screen it is. This executive order puts us back into a place where we can motivate kids. I was, influenced by that President's Council years ago. I spoke to Secretary Kennedy about it today. We both were a part of that, and it was motivating. My whole life, I have spent being in shape and the right nutrition and training. And that kind of activity teaches you everything you need to know about how to be successful in life. So it not only affects kids and their fitness, it affects their wellness, their mental health, how they approach life in general. And I feel like this is such an important moment in time, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it.
Yep.
Well, it was quite the group up there. It was representing so many different sports. We had Harrison Butker was up there. Of course, you had Bryson, you had LT. He didn't want to speak. I love the fact that they brought Lord. That was great. He's like, I'm not saying anything. He goes up there, which was awesome. I grew up watching him. But talk about, of all of those metrics, Paul, the push-up, the sit-up, the pull-up, the run, which one of those, in your mind, tells you the most about a kid's physical fitness?
Let me say my opinion. It has to be for me, it's probably running or pull-ups because running basically tells you how like good at cardio they are, how much they can truly run without immediately exhausting all their energy. Like running is extremely physically demanding, especially if you don't run often. Like you're going to be tired within 10 seconds and immediately not be able to run. Then pull-ups, another one. This one's more related to the more you weigh. They're more impressive as the higher your weight is because there's people that look like twigs that can obviously do 10 pull-ups without struggle. But that's because they'd have no weight to carry versus guys that are like, heavier. So carrying their body is actually a enormous task that they have to do and they struggle with it. That's what I would say. I'd say those two would probably be my biggest one, but doesn't make the other ones less important. I'm just saying those I think would be the hardest ones out of the bunch, most cases.
Say a 12-year-old's physical fitness.
Boy, for me, it's an interesting question, but for me, it's not a singular exercise or something that they're good at because every kid is different. So taller kids have a hard time with push-ups or pull-ups or, certain activities. So it's about change. That's what is important to me. It's about motivating these kids to go and try something, to get physically involved, to improve themselves. One thing about the gym and physical fitness is you get out of it what you put into it. And they will.
Yeah, that's 100% true, which is the gym is one of the few things where really all your effort really shows in the end. Because if you put little effort, you get little result. If you put a lot of effort, like you won't see the results at first. You need consistency. But eventually, if you're consistent enough, you'll start to see the results of everything you put in, all the work you put in. And exercise is one of those things where you truly learn what discipline is and delayed gratification is because your body will not get abs after working out one day. It'll take like months, maybe even a year for you to even manage to do that. But once you see the results, like you feel so amazing, you look amazing, and you're happy about it. But it takes so much time and discipline that not everybody wants to put in the effort to do that because that's extremely physically demanding, not only in terms of like exercise, but even eating. Like it hurts because like some people have fast metabolism, so they need to force themselves to eat more in order to even manage to get that body. Where some people have slow metabolisms where they have to eat less and try to starve themselves in order to even reach that. And that's a very hard point, which is people also have those struggles. But anyways, let's continue.
Learn that in this process, that by being motivated to where we get them with what the rewards are for their participation in this and their success at it. So whether they start out being able to do one push-up or no push-ups, and they get to a place where they can do 10, that's
Oh yeah, kind of like the military. They break you down just to build you back up again, except, far less harsh because, they're just kids going to school. They're not like men going to actual war. But that's what I think of exercise. It's supposed to break you down, figure out what your limits are, and then have you slowly and steadily improve in all of them. Even if you don't improve in everything like equally, you can improve at some things more than others. And if you find out something you like more than something else, you could definitely go into that specific niche. Like some people prefer lifting weights over cardio. Some people prefer riding a bike over lifting weights. That's fine. Some people prefer body weight exercises. And all of them, it doesn't make any of them less important than the other. It's just some people prefer certain methods that lead to certain results. But yeah, I'm 100% in line with that.
Incredible achievement for a young person that they feel good about and want to continue their fitness journey. That to me is what's important. It's not the individual exercise. It's about the effort and the
JD Vance like pulling the Agent 47 suit. Anyways, let's continue.
attempt to do it. And whether that's sports or whether that's just doing it on your own and being active and working out, to me, that is the driver of this. It's just make these kids fit and healthy and happy and,
I like-
and
I
get
like
them
what
on
you
with their
said.
lives.
Yeah, Paul, I like what you said about get away from the screens. Kids disappearing into their rooms with laptops or tablets or their phones and under the covers, and they're watching movies or
Yeah, let's just assume they're watching movies. Like, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing when they hide under the cover with their devices.
playing games. I mean, I get everyone wants to unwind, but that's 8 hours a day for some kids. That's a killer. By the way, Hulk Hogan Day tomorrow in Florida,
Yep.
Paul, and I know you wrestled against him, and I know this has been a very emotional
Happy
week
Hulk
for
Hogan
you.
Day.
And thank you for what you're doing for the kids, and I know how much you're going to miss the Hulkster.
Thank
Paul,
you. Yeah,
thank
we'll
you.
all miss the
Thank you
Hulk,
so
but
much.
being here today, honored to be involved. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
Yeah, but overall, this is a good announcement because I really don't see any negatives in this. I know some people will spin this as, oh, this is fat phobic or whatever, but like in reality, it's like being in good shape physically is not a bad thing. Like there obviously are some people with disabilities that can't do everything you can, but things like that, there actually are programs for disabled people in order to figure out exercises they can do by themselves. Like depending on what disability you have, though, heavily varies what you can even do. Yeah. But anyways, here's a random picture I decided to just throw out at the end of it. This is Artorias sword from Dark Souls, a pair of headphones, a hat, the 4-star Dragon Ball, and Krollo's book from Hunter x Hunter. Just something I felt like sharing. Anyways, I'm still doing the face reveal. I just wanted to throw that out there. These are a few things I like. I still haven't done that sword collection video. But yeah, anyways, that's all.